Hi everybody, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts, and guess what? This is actually the 20th episode for an Answering Questions episode on Prehistoric Facts. How about that, huh? 20 episodes of answering questions. So let's actually get started here. John from South Sioux City, Nebraska asks, if the brains of Carcharodontosaurid were less sophisticated than the raptors and the tyrants, then why the professional hype of them being family hunters? Well, the reason why I said that in the special episode of talking about Giganotosaurus was that is that you see the tyrants and the raptors are actually leaning towards the bird lineage, whereas the allosaurs and the giganotosaurs and the abelisaurs were actually pretty much leaning towards the reptilian lineage. So their brains are very different. So if you look at the tyrannosaurs along with raptors, you actually see they're heading towards a bird lineage than the allosaurs or the Carcharodontosaurs. So the Carcharodontosaurs would not have that much of way of planning and thinking that the Tyrannosaurs and the Raptors would actually had. So, and also you actually see when you look at the CT scans of the brains of the brain cases of these animals, you actually see that the Raptors and the Tyrannosaurs have expansion in the cerebrum, whereas the Allosaurs and the Carcharodontosaurs don't have that expansion. So they're actually going to be more pretty much not as much planning and thinking. So they're actually not going to be very well used to actually like plan attacks accordingly and properly though too. Because when you actually look at the Raptors and the Tyrannosaurs, they were probably thinking much more faster, and also they were probably looking at it pretty much planning attacks a lot better, and also they would probably be making the attack a lot more smoothly than the Allosaurs and the Carcharodontosaurs. But even though I do think they did hunt in packs from time to time, they're not going to be very large packs though, because when you actually look at the Tyrannosaurs and the Raptors, they're pretty much going to have much more large. They're going to have a little bit bigger pack structure, because when you actually probably the Tyrannosaurs would probably have like probably upwards of probably like maybe 5 to 6 members, whereas Raptors would probably have nearly as probably maybe pretty close to 10. So the Allosaurs and the Carcharodontosaurs. Now, Allosaurs are smaller than the Carcharodontosaurs, so I would say that the Allosaurs would probably hunt with probably maybe 4 members, and probably the Carcharodontosaurs would probably just be hunting in pairs or otherwise in members of 3. So they're not really going to be kind of actually attacking animals with that many members to actually take down like a sauropod. But even though with Carcharodontosaurs they can actually just take down the sauropod a little bit easier with just a couple of bites, you know, because they just need to bite the neck and also the flanks and parts of the tail too, so that the blood loss can actually speed up a lot faster. And also that's why you actually it's why the Carcharodontosaurs actually have those blade-like teeth. And I would actually say that the Carcharodontosaurs were probably capable of actually hunting in packs, but it's just that they're not going to be very coordinated attacks very accurately. So they're not going to have very accurate attack patterns, and also they're not going to be very well suited to actually attack in like the same way as like the Tyrannosaurs or the Raptors. So the Tyrannosaurs have much bigger cerebrums, than the Allosaurs and the Carcharodontosaurs. Because if you look at both brain sizes, you actually totally see the difference between these two kinds of animals. So they're very different, and also the Tyrannosaurs were much more advanced than the Carcharodontosaurs, and the Raptors were actually a bit smarter and also they actually had much better sophisticated. It actually probably had much better attack patterns, and also can make the attack much more easily done than what the Tyrannosaurs could have done. All right, next question is from Rini from Embarrass, Wisconsin. Is Bistahieversor a recently found relative of T-rex? Well, Bistahieversor. I keep butchering the name of this animal. But let me see if I can actually pronounce this correctly, and I can actually get it much more accurate. Bistahieversor. All right. Let's start off by saying the name much more pronouncedly accurate. But anyway, let's actually get to the point here. Yes, it's actually a relative of Tyrannosaurus rex. It's actually a carnivorous dinosaur that was actually found in New Mexico, if I believe, and what we see, the differences between Bistahieversor and Tyrannosaurus rex is that we actually see that Bistahieversor actually has more teeth than Tyrannosaurus rex, because what I'm actually getting around here is that Bistahieversor actually has 64 teeth compared to Tyrannosaurus rex's 54. And that's amazing, because when you actually have more teeth, you actually have elongated skull, and also you actually can make the bite a little bit severe in terms of blood loss. Now, I do think that since it is a Tyrannosaur, and Tyrannosaur is actually, there's a really good comparison to find out if they are related to each other, is by looking at the teeth. In the front teeth of Tyrannosaurus rex, in cross section, they're D-shaped, so they're shaped like the letter D. So it is actually very interesting, and that's a characteristic of Tyrannosaurs. And with the size of this animal, it's actually approximately 30 feet long and probably weighed a ton. So it's smaller than Tyrannosaurus rex, and also it's lighter built than Tyrannosaurus rex. So it'll probably be much faster, and also probably actually have probably a little bit more probably less of a stronger, probably not as strong of a bite as Tyrannosaurus rex, and probably Bistahieversor and a few other Tyrannosaurs that were probably bigger than this. When we actually look at this animal, there's a very interesting thing about this find, is that it actually has a hole on top of the eye socket, and that is unusually rare. Because scientists are trying to figure this out, because they're trying to figure out what was this used for. Was this like a bite mark? Was this like some feature of the animal that is unknown to some scientists, or is it something else? Could it be just like an appendage that is just attached to this animal that we can't even figure it out? Because you see, if this was actually like a horn, and that thing above the eye is called the boss, then we might actually see like a keratin horn on top of its head, on top of its eyes. So pretty much kind of look a little strange, to be honest with you. It would probably look like a very strange looking Tyrannosaur. But when you actually try to, but since it is actually a newly discovered animal, so it's actually not going to be well informed to people that much. It's because you see, since it's a new animal, there's still going to be new studies of how tyrannosaurs evolved in North America, because since tyrannosaurs are very rare in North America, they're very common in Asia. So they're very, very common in Asia, and tyrannosaurs pretty much began in Asia, and they pretty much migrated toward North America, and that's why you actually see larger tyrannosaurs are actually in North America than they are in Asia. It's because in North America there's more space, and also there's a bigger food source, whereas in Asia it's not that much of habitat to actually go around, and also the food source is a bit smaller, so they actually have to pretty much just find food much harder than what the North American tyrannosaurs did. But anyway, that's it for now. And now next week would actually be a special episode, so I will actually post a link on my Facebook fan page of dinosaur list of names of the dinosaurs that you want me to talk about, and hopefully you guys can pick a dinosaur that I can talk about. I want to make sure I get some dinosaurs out of the way, and then possibly I can actually get some mammals done too. But also, if you still have a question about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric animals, feel free to email me at dinocris71@gmail.com, or otherwise you can actually post it on the comments section of a Facebook post on my Facebook fan page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at CSGRALL, and you can actually, and I post pretty cool stuff on Twitter, and hopefully you guys can actually like what I do on Twitter, and also if you take care of the people around you, and also for you younger people out there, make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. Those are the best motivation you can have for a good education. It's very important to have a good education, and with a good education, you get a good job in the future. All right, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys later.